Hello friends, welcome to Raja's Data Engineering. In this video, I'm going to explain transformation and action in Spark world. Transformation and action. These are operations used in Spark programming. As part of this journey, we are going to understand lazy evaluation, DAG, that is directed acyclic graph, narrow transformation, wide transformation, and action. Let us try to understand what is transformation. Transformation is nothing but kind of operation which transforms data frame from one form to another. As a result of these operations, we will get new data frame. Data frame is basically immutable, which means we cannot modify the existing data frame. When we apply certain transformation, it always creates new data frame. That is why this is called immutable. And transformation works in lazy evaluation model. Lazy evaluation means when we execute transformation, the actual execution is not happening immediately. The actual result data will not be produced immediately. The Spark engine will create only the logical plan for that transformation. Then it will create DAG. The logical plan or the execution steps will be associated with DAG. That is why this is called lazy evaluation. Unless we call an action, this transformation will not get executed. So only lazy evaluation will be performed to create DAG. Filter union, these are the examples of transformation. Coming to action, when we want to work with actual data, we can call action. So action would execute all the transformations that are associated with directed acyclic graph and returns the data to driver for display or storage purpose. Count, collect, save. These are the examples of action. So let us understand like this. Let's say in a Spark programming, there are 10 different commands. Let's say the first 9 commands are transformation and 10th command is action. So what happens is when we execute the first 9 steps, it's a lazy evaluation. It a Spark engine only produces the logical plan and creating directed acyclic graph. So when we execute the 10th step, that is action, what happens is Spark engine refers a DAG and it traverses back to step 1 and started executing all the steps starting from step 1 till step 9. Then it has created the new data frame at the end of ninth step, that is at the end of the transformation. Then finally it performs action, that is displaying the data by passing the data to driver or storing the data to storage layer. So I have created a diagram to explain this concept. Let's say in this diagram, we have a external source data. It could be CSV, it could be S3 Amazon bucket, or it could be Azure data lake storage. So in the first step, Spark engine reads the data from external data and it creates the source data frame, that is TF1. On top of this source data frame, we are performing some transformation. So let's say we are filtering certain records based on some condition. Filter is transformation. So what happens is the process will not immediately produce the data. Instead of that, it will create the logical plan and it will update into directed acyclic graph. And at the end of this transformation, it will create another data frame that is called DF2. Yes, TF1 is immutable. Once data is filtered, then it will not eliminate the data from DF1. But instead of that, it will create a new data frame DF2 that will contain only the filtered out data. And again, we are performing certain transformation. Let's say we are concatenating two columns, first name and last name. So what happens is concatenation. Again, it is transformation. So it will not actually work with the data, but it will create logical plan and update directed acyclic graph. And at the end of this operation, it will create another data frame df3. And let's say now we are calling action. So we want to write the data into S3 bucket or storage layer. So what happens is this action will refer DAG and it traverses back to the first step and it will start executing all the transformations based on the logical plan provided by DAG, and it will complete steps one by one. Finally, it will produce DF3. Then the output would be written into the storage layer. This is how it works. I hope you understood lazy evaluation and DAG. Let us move to transformation. Coming to transformation, there are two kinds of transformation. One is narrow transformation, another one is wide transformation. In the narrow transformations, we don't need to shuffle the data across nodes. It's a simple transformation, or it's inexpensive. But opposite to narrow transformation, wide transformation is very expensive and it will hit the performance because it has to shuffle the data across nodes. Let me explain the narrow transformation. I have created this diagram. You can see. Let's say this is the cluster, and within this cluster we have three executors. Okay, executor 1, executor 2, executor 3, and within each executor we have one partition. Say partition 1 belongs to executor 1, partition 2 belongs to executor 2, and partition 3 belongs to executor 3. Now I want to apply filter operations. So I want to filter out all the records where employee ID equal to 2. So for this operation, each and every partition will work on this logic. The logic would be provided by driver to this executor, and each and every executor can work independently. In order to perform this logic, they are not depending on the other partitions. So that is the reason each and every partition can work independently and it can return the result to the driver. So that is the reason this is called narrow transformation. So narrow transformation does not require shuffling data across nodes. So here for this operations, I have given sample code. Let's say this is DF1. So from DF1, we are filtering based on this employee ID column equal to 200. Then the output would be this DF2. So this is the narrow transformation. We don't need to shuffle the data across nodes. Moving to wide transformation. In wide transformation, data is getting shuffled across nodes. That is why it is expensive and it will hit the performance. So, and why do we need to shuffle the data? Because each and every partition is depending on the other partition to produce the output by applying the transformation. Let's say here, now here you can see the same concept. There are three executors and one partition in each executor, and you can see the data in the first record. In the first partition, one record for sales, one record for HR, one record for IT. Similarly, we have data for partition 2 and partition 3. And now we have written a logic to find number of records for each department. So basically we have to group by department and we need to find number of records for each department. So group by is wide transformation. So in order to find the number of records for each department, for example, in the first partition, the first partition can understand there is one record in this partition, but it does not know the number of records in other partitions. So what it needs is, it has to shuffle the data. First, it has to group all the relevant records into one partition. Then only it can perform the number of records for each department. So in order to perform that, first it shuffles the data. For example, now this department sales record will remain in the first partition, but in the second partition, the sales record will move to partition 1. Similarly, sales record in partition 3 will move to partition 1. So this is how shuffling happens. And similarly, shuffling happens for partition 2 and partition 3. Finally, we keep only relevant records in each partition. So now it is easier for Spark to find the number of records for each department. So finally, the output would be returned to driver, that is sales number of records would be 3, same for HR and IT. This is wide transformation. I have given some list for transformation and action. This is not exhaustive list, but still you can refer. And the most commonly used transformations are filter, group by, sort by, union. Now, these are the most commonly used transformations. Coming to action, collect, first, take, for each, and save. These are the most commonly used actions. You can refer this one. Let us jump into the demo. I have already created workspace in Databricks Community Edition. I have also created the cluster. It is up and running. In order to proceed with this demo, first we have to create a sample data frame. So for that, we have to read sample data. So I have already uploaded 3 CSV files under baby names in Databricks file system. So let us see the files first. So I'm executing this one. Here you can see now there are 3 files, 3 CSV files. In the second step, we have to read the data and we have to create source data frame. So I have created the code here. So it will read the CSV file from this location, baby names. It will read all the 3 files, and at the end of the execution, it will display the data frame. So let me execute this one. Here you can see data frame got created successfully. It contains year, first name, county, sex, count. And now I want to make a few transformations. The first transformation, that is filter. Filter is a narrow transformation because it does not require shuffling the data across nodes. So first what I'm doing is in the source data frame, I am filtering based on county equal to kings. So it will create another data frame df1, which will contain only the data where county equal to kings. So let me execute this step. So when we execute this step, what happens is, Spark engine just validates the command and creating logical plan to execute this step. But actually it is not producing the data for df1. And again, I'm executing another transformation. Okay, another filter, but this time different condition. Okay, maybe county equal to Ulster. I'm creating another data frame df2. So let me execute this one. Great, it got executed successfully. And again, I'm executing one more transformation. Again, it is narrow transformation union. So union, here I'm combining the data frame 1 and data frame 2. In data frame 1, I have created all the records belonging to kings. And df2, I have created all the records belonging to Ulster. Now I am combining. So df3 will contain the records for kings and Ulster. So let me execute this transformation as well. It got executed successfully. And moving to the next, again, I am executing one more transformation, but this time this is Y transformation. I am doing group by. So what I'm doing is I am trying to find the number of records for each year. So here we have a year column, and there are multiple years, 2007, 2008, 2009, 10. We have multiple years. So now I want to calculate the number of records for each year from DF3, only for DF3. Okay, so here group by, in order to find the number of records per year, it has to shuffle the record. So this is costly operation. Here we are working with sample data. This is actually very simple. So you cannot find the performance issue, but while working with actual projects, it might shuffle millions of records. So it will hit the performance. So let me execute this Y transformation. See here, the execution got successful. Now, so far we have executed only transformations, no actions, which means it has validated the command and created operational logical plan, and it updated into DAG, directed acyclic graph. And in the final step, I am planning to execute one action. Action here, collect. Collect is nothing but this is one of the action, and it will display the result into terminal in the screen. So now I'm going to execute this step. What happens is when we execute this step, it will traverse back and it will go to the first step. That is nothing but first transformation, this transformation, and it will start executing from here. It will create the first data frame df1, then it will create another data frame df2, then it will create df3, and it will create y transformation data from df4, and finally it will display the result into the screen. This is how it works. Let me execute this command. Here you can see the output. Year 2000, year 2007, the count is 725. So for year 2007, there are 725 records. And similarly for 2009, 782. So finally we have seen the output. So when we execute this step, it actually execute all the transformations based on DAG. And I can show you the DAG also. So if I click this Spark jobs, then I can see here, you can see for this job, see the graph. If I click on view, I can see DAG. So if I click, if I refer DAG, here you can see the whole operation. First it will scan, which means it is filtering the data belonging to Kings County. And here it is scanning the data for Ulster. Once that is done, then it is joining both the data using union operator. Once that is done, we have to perform the group by. For group by, it has to exchange the data. Then it is exchanging. Then finally, it is returning the data to screen. This is how it works. I hope you understood the concept of transformation and action. If you like this video, please like and comment. Also, please subscribe my channel and don't forget to click on the bell button. Thank you.